Hey,
Hey, welcome, welcome,
hey.
welcome. Yay. Okay.
We are so.
Go
Are
ahead.
you feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, or just plain out of balance? Ladies,
Okay, Robyn is a little. Oh, it's my turn. Hey, everybody,
it's
it's Big Brown, Big
me.
Brother Lifestyle Church. I know. If you guys can tell, y'all, I'm out of town. Y'all see my beautiful waterfall? Hopefully, my voice will come across and not everybody else's. Okay, so DeNitra, listen, we so super excited. Um, who got next? Who got next?
It's me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Tonight we're going to be talking about hormones. We're going to be talking about stress. We're going to talk about balance, and we are super excited to have our new co-host with us,
That's
DeNitra
the part.
Davis. Woo, woo, woo. We are so excited that you are here with us. DeNitra, you guys met her last week, and she is a metabolic health practitioner and certified health coach. And so we are so excited that she has decided and deigned to grace us with her wonderful presence as part of our Hey Sister Girl team. Hey, DeNitra.
Hey,
I know.
Robyn. Hey, G. I'm excited and thrilled and super elated to be here, be a part of this phenomenal mission that we are endeavoring to do. So, thank you.
Hmm. No, thank you for being here. Because listen, let me jump back in because I was a little discombobulated because of where I am. The feedback that I received, just me, for you being on the show and just how you touch so many different people, y'all in the community, we couldn't say anything but, hey, sister girl, the people need you. And so
Oh,
we are so thankful that she's joined us, guys. And today we are going to talk about some stress, some hormones, and everything. You're going to get it from everywhere because we must be better, guys. We must take care of ourselves. It is, you start feeling bad about self care because you're not used to it. And we getting ready to get you used to it. All right. Now, that's all I have to say on that one. Go ahead.
all right. So,
Who got
D,
next?
you got next. You're going to talk to
I
us a
do.
little bit about stress and hormones.
Okay. For me, cortisol, insulin, can really key off some stress hormones. So I have some information and stuff for you guys. Wait a minute. That did not go right. Okay. Chronic stress impacts key hormones. Your cortisol, that's some chronic stress. It keeps the cortisol levels elevated, which can disrupt the blood sugar controls. It increases cravings and leads to abdominal uh, accumulation. Hormonal dynamo effect. Ooh, y'all, listen to me be smart. Elevated cortisol impacts other hormones such as insulin. It worsens insulin resistance and estrogen, causes imbalances that contribute to PMS, irregular cycles, and or some menopause symptoms. Let's talk about that. I have to say this. I don't know where I put this into my script to say tonight, but I have to say this to DeNitra. For as much as I've listened over time about insulin, insulin resistance, and insulin sensitivity, I overlooked the sensitivity part, right? I was like, all of it is insulin. All of it has to do with sugar. And the moment that you hear insulin, you talked about that last week, where people think of sugar diabetes. And it's like now that I have no, I don't do carbs, I don't do these things. That one time that I had barbecue sauce. When you said that, because see, I'm gonna be honest, I'm like, oh my God, I hate y'all a little bit of barbecue sauce, and I hurt for 2 days. And it was at that moment when you said it. So you can't get mad at preachers, you can't get mad at teachers because they teach it. And then all of a sudden somebody come and they say something and the light bulb come on. And that was my light bulb moment. I said, wait a minute, I'm so sensitive now. That's what you have to understand. Your body now is so sensitive to these things from the outside that just a little bit can set you off. All right, my next thing is some symptoms of stress and hormonal imbalances. Some physical signs: fatigue, stubborn weight gain. Y'all ever realize how, and we say this about men all the time, uh, you try and go on something with your husband, and before you know it, he come back to me, I dropped 6 pounds overnight. And you just, look, you,
Yeah.
some stuff,
You
sir,
look at
you
them.
really need to, baby, some stuff you really need to keep to yourself. Okay? I don't need to hear that right now. But that is us. That is how we are designed. We have to, they can't carry a baby. They can't do any of those things. So our midsections pick this weight up. We want to go have these mommy makeovers because we keep stressing with weight. It's over and over and over. It just seems like the never ending story. Hold on, y'all. I got to push that button.
All right.
I know. I know. I had to push the button.
All right.
I know. And the button still ain't acting right. Yeah, I'm trying to get fancy over here.
Well,
There
while
we go.
you're talking,
All
while
right.
you're trying to push your button, I want to just chime in on
Uh-huh,
cortisol
Shane. Come
because
on, come on, come on.
cortisol is such a challenge. I know that I have been having sleep issues forever. And that cortisol is really, really problematic and causing the stress, causes the
Mm-hmm.
high cortisol, and then the sleep is impacted. And also weight gain. I mean, unexpected and sudden weight gain when you're going through stressful times. So sometimes you should give yourself a little grace because of the stress. And then we're going to talk tonight, of course, about how to deal with the
Well,
stress.
what we really want to do is not be stressed. That's one of the things that we're working on. So one of the other things that I talked about was the weight around the midsection and the difficulty falling or staying asleep. How many of us wake up around 3:30, brain start racing? You got all these thoughts. Was this taken care of? So on and so forth. I heard someone talk about that we are mental. Well, did she say we were mentally held hostage? Some kind of way she worded this, just talking about women, how we are holding doctor's appointments in our head. We're worried about what time this person goes to track. You got ballet. You have tap. My husband has to be picked up. Wait a minute, we have this at the store. That's our brain at all times. This is what it's doing. And I done got so good I can make one finger go forward and the other go backwards. Right? So these things are happening and you are not taking care of yourself, and then you wonder why it's difficult for the weight to come off. That's what we want to talk about. So you, in your emotions, with all of that going on, there's some increased mood. Come on now. Some irritability. There are times where you just kind of take a deep breath and you look. Y'all know our looks that we give. We have those that heighten anxiety. All of these things can signal stress and be overwhelming hormonal symptoms. So, how do we encourage some self reflection? You first have to identify those stress patterns. That's so true. You have to identify them. You have to be able to say, yes, this is it. So, I put together a couple of things that, let me see, that I want right here. Okay. Hey, come on. Hey, sister girls. I'm asking you to consider how chronic stress shows up in our lives. I want you to think about this. Throughout your exhaustion, your emotional eating, or disruptive sleep, right? All of those can come into play. Think about that. And I just said to you, you literally holding that family together. And heaven forbid, if you are a single parent, stop it, I say. You are like doctor's appointment, not only for you, but all these other people. And then you have to say, what time does this one end? What time does this one begin? And I ain't even talked about school, homework, science project, that extra stuff that you have to do, the kids waiting until the last moment to give you the supply list for the project that needs to be done that they done turned around and waited until the night before. My project due when? Tomorrow. And here's the list, and you up here at the Family Dollar and all this other stuff looking for them poster boards. Come on now, I'm taking you through because I know these things happen. So first you got to identify them stress patterns, all right? You have to do that. And then I wrote this down. I want you to think about one more specific area of stress management you could focus on improving, such as dedicating time for relaxation or adjusting what it is that you eat. So Frederick and I'm in the hotel lobby right now, y'all. We are I am determined at 60 to take time for him and I. Nobody. Y'all, I had to share this real quick. I had this conversation with my goddaughter. When you get to be 20, 20 to me, now this is me, it's like this dead number. You're no longer a teenager and you're not quite grown yet. You're in a holding pattern. Then you made it to 21. You super excited. Excuse me. You super excited. That's great. Then your next milestone is 25. Oh, but when the dirty 30 hit, come on now, I need y'all to think back. That dirty 30 hit, and you like, hold up, I'm 30. I haven't accomplished this. You start thinking about that. And then the magic number 40 gonna come, whether you want it to or not. And then at that point, your body start really breaking down. And they say, yeah, you 40. That's what's getting ready to happen. Them aches, pains, when you stand up, them joints start popping. No, that's not what's supposed to happen to you. That is what happens to you, but that is not is supposed to happen. But by the time you get 40, you kind of looking around and it's like, okay, then for 50. Now I'm giving you all of my stuff. When I turned 50, in my mind, they had a big party, and I said, I'm at the halfway point of 100. I got more years behind me than I have in front because my body aches, all these things going on, and I don't know if I'm going to make it to 100. I can't even stand up and just stand up and walk. I got to stand up, be limped over for a moment, wait for my body to stretch up, hope that it don't. That is the life that I was living. But 60? No. I know without a shadow of a doubt there's less years in front of me than behind me. And ain't nobody getting ready to waste no more of my minutes. If I want a bubble bath, whatever it is, I'm getting ready to take care of me. I just don't feel that the rest of my life was to sit in the house and be the manager of everybody's life. I just don't feel that for me. Look, I don't want that assignment. I'm just not doing it. Y'all have to manage y'all lives because this one right here, this 60-year-old Nene, baby, when I leave this hotel, I'm going to get on a ship. When I leave that ship, I'm going home to change clothes and I'm headed back out again. This Nene is getting ready to enjoy her life. All right. And so let me see. I got a thought-provoking question because we got a metabolic health practitioner on the scene. All right, what is one of the small but impactful way women can start addressing stress-related hormone imbalances today? Come on, this gonna open up the conversation and let's get it going. I'm gonna mute myself. Go ahead,
Can we
girl.
get a drum roll? Brrr. I am giving you a license to sleep. Take a nap. Go to sleep. That is the key. That is the number one impactful thing that you can do to regulate your hormones. Sit down somewhere. Take a load off and rest. We need rest. That is the number one driver of causing cortisol. You both mentioned cortisol. That is the number one driver, is that we are stressed and stretched. We are stretched. We're doing it all for everyone, and we are not slowing down, which means that we're no good for anyone else. It's just like when you fly, they tell you put your mask on first before you put on others' masks. And so tonight on Hey Sister Girl with Robyn and G, the major takeaway that we're saying is go to sleep, get some rest, take the nap, sleep longer. That is the key to regulating the hormone cortisol, is your body needs rest. So let's just rest in that. Let's just pause in that. Let's just pause in that. It is okay to rest. That is when your body get an opportunity to heal itself, to repair itself. All the drama, the trouble, it's like just shut it down. I have a good friend. We have a little saying, girl, my batteries didn't ran out. I ain't got no more batteries. I'm done. Or we run so much that we are just exhausted. And we can be saying, I'm exhausted, and still doing exhausting things. And so tonight I say sleep. It may sound simple, but it is profound. If you can just get some acceptance around your body needs to rest. Establish you a sleep schedule. Like when we were young, we got mad at mama because we had a bedtime. This is what time you going to bed. No, I want to stay up late. When I get grown, I'm going to stay up as long as I want to stay up. Now I want my bedtime. What time you say go to bed, mama?
No, that's right.
My mother teases me all the time about, I'm going to send you to your room. I said, good, and I ain't coming out. Right? Like, let's go back to when things were simple. Establish you a bedtime. Get you a routine. What do you do to relax? Is it light a candle? Is it a bubble bath? Is it reading a book? Do you do bedtime stories with yourself anymore? What is your sleep environment like? Is it calming? Is it cool? Do you like cool? I know most of us, because of a lot of the other things we talked about with hormones, we need a little cool for a minute, then we need a little heat for a minute. So we go back and forth. So I got a fan. Get you a fan with a remote, sweetie. They make them now. So you ain't got to get up and turn the fan on and off. Y'all, these are key things that you can do to just relax your body, to rest. It is so serious. I am consistently seeing, I'm 54, just turned 54. And I'm seeing women who are 10 years older than me, 9 years younger than me, that they are dying because they are so stressed. You want to be everything to everybody. I left the whole city because I was being too many things to too many people. I needed to take care of me. As I mentioned before on the previous show about the health issues that I was dealing with, a lot of that was trying to do all things for all people. And everything that's good ain't God. You got to make sure that you are being led in that direction, because then you'll have no regrets. You can move in a place of peace. And so tonight, sleep. I can't say it enough. Rest. And hey, I'm guilty. That's why I'm here. This is why we're building a community. So somebody can remind me. Someone can send me, hey, are you in bed now? Or what time did you get up? So that I don't have that as an issue either. So I'm here reinforcing and speaking to me first. I need to do the same thing. And so tonight, a part of what I want to really dive into, and you probably will hear this from me often as a metabolic health practitioner, I'm going to always be dealing with things related to our metabolic well-being, and that's going to always be related to insulin resistance. I want you all to start knowing that word like you know your social security number. Insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, Here's the statistic. 93% of Americans are metabolically unhealthy. So that means only 7% are healthy. Which one do you fall in? Don't answer that question out loud. You can't answer out loud which one do you want to be in. We want to be metabolically healthy. And so when we deal with insulin resistance, as I said last week, if you didn't see the show, check us out. It's all about blood sugar, how blood sugar is operating in your body. And it's not just for diabetics. There are so many things, the weight we're gaining, the darkness is in our skin, the eye trouble we're having, the atherosclerosis, the gout, all of those things
Skin
are
tags.
skin tags. All of those things are insulin resistant. Your high blood pressure has nothing to do with salt nor pork. Neither one. It has nothing to do with it. Girl, eat your pork and eat your salt. The Bible already told you was the salt of the earth. Go and be it. Eat your salt. Salt is good for you. But sugar is not. And things that metabolize as sugar are not. And that is what causes insulin resistance. So my ladies that are listening that have high blood pressure, revisit your doctor. They have you on a diuretic for trying to get you to urinate often. Let's figure out what's going on with the sugar. Is it the Diet Coke? Is it the Coke? Is it the over sugar that you're putting in your coffee? Is it that you got up and you ate toast? You ate oatmeal? You drank orange juice? You had a big bowl of fruit and a little piece of meat, a little piece of protein? That is a sugar diet, and that is going to spike insulin. The other point I want to make tonight is about weight gain. Cortisol is going to cause your appetite to be stimulated. So you didn't sleep last night because cortisol was all over the place. And then you got up this morning and cortisol makes your blood sugar run high because of the foods that you chose. And so now you have this stimulated appetite. So now you're eating all the time. You're snacking. Can't get enough, can't get full. You're nervous eating. You're mindlessly eating. All of that is cortisol operating in your body. And one of the things that I want to make sure of is that we understand that cortisol drives us into a place of fight or flight or fright. And you have to determine like which one of those places you're in. And so I say this to my sisters too, is that we are chronically exercising. So I work with women who are fairly small, but they are still having insulin spikes. They're still not reducing weight. They're still having an issue. In some cases, it is that you are overworking out. You are sending your body into fight mode. Remember that if we were ancestrally appropriate living, we would only be out running if we were trying to find something to eat. And so when you get on a treadmill and you run on this treadmill for 2 hours, you're teaching your body that you are in fight mode, you are in flight mode, and the body doesn't understand that you're just exercising, right? And so you're moving your body in a way that scares the death out of your body. So guess what it does? It holds on to inflammation. This is why I say insulin resistance does have a look. It does have a look. You can see inflammation. However, it doesn't matter about your size. I'm working with women on a regular basis who are small women that are still struggling. And one of the reasons that I encourage them to take a look at is the amount of exercise that they're doing. So think about that and make sure that your exercise is coinciding with your body. You should be wanting to do peaceful things, yoga, strength training. Those things are normal activities of what the body would be doing. Now, if somebody chasing you, by all means, get to running, get to stepping. But if not, maybe reconsider running on a treadmill or running in the neighborhood consistently, and you're not monitoring what it's doing to your insulin. That will cause an insulin spike. And so back to this sleep disruption that we're having. Your quality of sleep, staying asleep. This is where you want to check electrolytes. What are your electrolytes? So a lot of us, because we've been misinformed about salt, we are having a diet of no salt because we think salt is going to give us high blood pressure. Now, I will say you must choose a quality salt. I'm going to say that over and over again. You need to choose a quality salt, but you need to have salt. If dehydration is a real thing, hydration is real, but hydration is not just water. It is also putting those electrolytes back. Again, that's how you're going to manage cortisol. You get to control what cortisol does based on what you do in your body. And so I just want to pause and see if either one of you have a comment, or this adequate sleep thing is the main thing. And then I want to talk about diet and how diet impacts cortisol.
Yeah, so what you said is so profound about the over exercising. And I don't know that I have heard that yet in the space. I have not heard anybody saying that. I hear people talking about like over fasting. You know, fasting too long can be difficult for women. It puts you in a fight or flight sort of position, but never about exercise. So that is a new one on me. And I think that makes a lot of sense, that if you're acting like you're in trouble, your body can't tell the difference.
Exactly.
It thinks you're
exactly.
Yeah, really profound.
And so when we think about that,
okay. Wait. I want to add, and I know I want to mute myself soon because of the water fountain that I heard. You just talked about, you mentioned resting. I was writing notes. Resting doesn't mean sitting down and thinking about all the stuff that you still got to do that haven't been done. What else? That's not resting. Okay? I don't care if you watch mindless television, anything. I tell my husband that sometimes. I don't need to figure out the plot. I don't need to do any of that. Whether you are on YouTube and you just listening to calming water, rain, whatever. So I got that. And then you mentioned somebody had talked about cholesterol. I wrote that down. When they started with cholesterol, I think 300 or 350 was a good number. But then they made a statin. So then they had to make some money, and it dropped.
Yes.
And then they turned around talking about your total cholesterol. That only has to do with them making money. And then you were talking about skin tags, and I've been seeing a lot of people with keloids. Same thing. So the skin, I have one left. Y'all know how you get older and you start peeling in your necklace chain and all that. You ain't supposed to even have those. And then you said salt, pink Himalayan salt, sea salt are the two that you can find in a regular grocery store. There are other ones, and you did say that exercise thing is really good because there's a difference between movement and exercise. You could talk about that. I'm gonna mute myself.
Yes. And that's exactly where I was going. So don't hear me tonight saying don't exercise and don't move your body, because your body needs movement. Your body needs physical activity. It needs to be active, whether you're walking, whether you're taking a light jog, whether that causes you to have to walk further, whether you use steps. Those things are movement for your body. So, but going to the gym and hanging out on a treadmill for an hour and a half or 2 hours, overdoing cardio. There is a way to overdo cardio, is what I'm saying. Let's find the balance in that. The other thing is making sure that your diet is healthy. And so healthy can be subjective as well. And so we want to make sure that we are eating a diet of as few carbohydrates as possible. Carbohydrates are sugar. It is a fancy name for sugar. So remember, anytime you're eating carbohydrates, your body is going to have an insulin spike. And so the goal here with insulin resistance is to go from being insulin resistant to being insulin sensitive. Insulin wants you to treat it in a sensitive way. The more sugar you feed it, the more carbohydrates you feed it, you are overloading it. And so it starts to resist, just like a mad child. I'm going to resist what you're trying to get me to do. But if you treat it nice, feed it less sugar, feed it more proteins, feed it more fat, then you're going to move your body into a place of insulin sensitivity. That's going to bring blood sugar down. It's going to help you release weight. It's going to help you control cortisol so that you can rest and that you can be less stressed. Okay. So the thing about stress also is, your social connections are hugely important. How you spend your time relaxing, who you spend your time with is important. So you want to be around people who promote you, who encourage you, who love you, who celebrate you, because there are times where we can be around people that we know immediately that they're going to stress us out. And so you get to regulate how often you spend time with them, how often you talk to them on the phone. You don't have to say, hey, I'm regulating my stress, I'm not talking to you. You just get a chance. That's the beauty of caller ID. You know who it is. You know what you can handle in that moment. And so maybe this is a time that I let this call pass. And when I'm in a different place, then I can take the call. Sometimes I like to have a text message so I can kind of understand what I'm up against. I have a very stressful job already. I don't know what kind of meetings I'm in and out of. So a lot of times I am monitoring a text message to see if it's something, if I have the capacity. You have to know your capacity. And so these things that we're talking about tonight are the things that's going to regulate your stress. How often you say yes when you should say no? Is there a yes that you've given that should have been a no? And so it is immediately going to trigger you into a place of stress, because now you already know when you hung up the phone and said yes that you didn't want to do it, that you shouldn't be committing to doing it. And so now the stress has already started and whatever you agreed to do ain't even here yet. And so you get a chance to take a pause, say things like, hey, let me give that some thought and get back to you on that. Like, put that in your vocabulary, right? So that you are not reactive and responding in a way that causes you to be agreeable to things that are ultimately going to wear you out. You don't want to be worn out. And these people are going to bed because you took something off of their plate and they at home sleeping good, and you trying to figure out how you're going to do that and that and this and that. So again, we're trying to make this plain tonight, make this very practical, make it hit home with the things that you're dealing with immediately. Even on the job, sometimes you have to decide what I have the capacity to do and what I don't have. With the children, gee, when you were talking about, and my son is 30 years old, but girl, when I say you brought back some flashbacks, this boy coming strolling in my room at midnight. And see, back then we had 24-hour Walgreens and 24-hour Walmart. Honey, I could see me on a robe, some house shoes, cursing all the way to get this poster board. And then have to stay up and do the presentation, do whatever it is you got to do. Mamas, that F ain't gonna hurt them. That one F might teach them, because the more A's you help them make, the more A's you're going to have to help them make. Let them get an F. Let them get a D. I used to tell my son after a while, I was like, listen, I'm not going to be on punishment because you're going to punish me. This is not my homework assignment. This is yours. So we have to be clear about our roles. And so the things that we're talking about have a medical impact on us. There is a metabolic impact on us. And so when you think about, when we're talking about insulin, that is something serious. Spiking insulin is something serious. And then when you think about this lack of sleep that you're getting, I am speaking to me. I need to do better about getting my rest, because I take on some things. I have a job. I'm loving what I'm doing in terms of this metabolic approach. And so then I let my sleep get off because I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I want to make sure I'm prepared for the people. But who am I if I'm not taking care of me? Take care of self first. And so the last thing I'll say is building this resilience and the tweaks that you can do. When we talk about the diet and we talk about eating a diet of carbohydrates, if you're not sure what carbohydrates are, I need you to get your cell phone out and Google the things that you are eating if you're not sure how many carbs you're consuming. Y'all, there is no room for moderation here. There's no room for moderation, right? Because moderation tricks us into thinking that I can have a piece of cake at lunch, and then I can have some French fries at dinner, and then I can have, some pancakes in the morning. I just ate one. They gave 3 pieces of French toast. I only ate one. That's not moderation, y'all. That thing right there is going to stall you. And each time you put carbohydrates and sugar in your body, and I'm going to keep saying, you're going to say, that's all the lady talk about is insulin spiking. Yes, because I need you to get it. I need you to understand that all of the woos and woes. I was with a lady today and we were going up steps and she was talking about her knees. And I told her, I said, it's the sugar. That is what's causing that. You should be, it's not about, some of these things that we're dealing with have nothing to do with age. It has everything to do with the foods that we are putting in our body. And so these stresses that we have, it causes brain fog the more sugar you eat. So remember, we told you that type 3 diabetes is the same as dementia. Sugar in the brain is dementia, Alzheimer's. And so that's the trajectory when we keep eating sugar. And so we don't allow our body to rest. And so, and I would say this too, when we think about men, and my husband is the same way, he can lose it just like that, right? But what we know about men is men are going to not be stressed like we are. Men going to say no and not think twice about it. They're going to be like, I ain't doing that, because they've already regulated in their mind the impact that thing is going to have on them. So they're not going to exercise that. We should take a lesson from that. We can learn from them on no means no when it's not what we should be doing. And so I'm excited tonight again to be here, to be a part of this movement, to be a co-host, to continue to try to feed women with wisdom, giving them, helping you all be well-informed. I always say well-informed women win. You all, we can win when we get the right information. This is some good stuff tonight that you're getting on Facebook, on YouTube. Go like my new channel. These ladies have shown me how to get a YouTube channel. So go like at Advocator, Coach, and Educator tonight. And I'm just excited to be able to share information and, send your questions now or later. Let's get your questions answered. Get your lab work done. I'm going to always harp on that too. Know what your fasting insulin is. I'm telling you about insulin resistance. I need you to know what your fasting insulin is, not your fasting glucose. There's a difference. I need you to know your fasting insulin, because that's going to be indicative of this insulin resistant state that you're in. Remember, only 93% of Americans are metabolically, only 7% are metabolically healthy. The rest of us are in the unhealthy 93%. Our goal is to change that tonight.
So I want to mention regarding the fasting insulin test. That is a test that it's not going to be part of your regular test panel. So if they say we're going to send you for a complete blood workup, it's not going to include the fasting insulin. You're going to have to ask your doctor to test that. And you might have to push your doctor and say, I really want you to put that on there. Because some of them will be like, well, you don't need it. You're not diabetic. You don't have a high A1C, X, Y, and Z. Your doctor works for you. You tell them what you want, and you want to have that fasting insulin drawn.
And I just want to add this too, Robyn. So with that, the other thing is that you may be diabetic. And the doctor may say, you don't need a fasting insulin. I already know you're diabetic. But you also want to know that fasting insulin to identify some other things that doctor is treating you for. Because they're working with you, maybe got you on metformin, have you on some doses of insulin, Moderna, all of those things to just treat the to get the blood sugar down, but not getting to the root cause of all these other things that you're dealing with. So you're taking some type of anti whatever for what's going on in your knees. Then you're taking something for what's going on in your neck, and you got another medicine for this one. All of it is tied to insulin. And I need for us to see the whole picture of it is all tied back to insulin. You can fix insulin and fix all of those things. And that would be the key.
Exactly.
Okay, y'all see, I know, girl. I know. Y'all, I have my notes going on. First thing I want to backtrack on, y'all, I was born in 1964. And when I was 9 years old, I was able to, in Chicago, Illinois, catch a bus by myself. I knew where to stand. I knew where to get off. When the doors opened going downtown, my mother would be standing there. That's what she taught me at 9 years old. Here's the thing. Because I had what we deem this rough growing up, where you walk uphill both ways in the snow to get to school, all those stories that you hear about in regards to us. And it's like, you know what? I want to make it a little easier for my kids. And we ended up making some blank kids. They don't know how to they don't know how to figure stuff. Look, they don't know how to figure stuff out. They wait to the last minute. They don't know how to do a lot of those things. So, bless you, baby. They don't know how to do a lot of those things. So we keep trying to make a soft landing for our children. It doesn't have to be as hard, but that hard is what made the character in you that now we sit and look and it's like, what? That's one of the things I want to talk about. So
Dr. Kiltz always says hard makes strong. Hard makes strong.
Stop making
Period.
those soft landings. Like she said, oh no, you didn't do that. So yeah, you have to stay after school and do that. Baby, when mine would miss the bus, I took, so let's say it took this long to get to school. I would drop them off right here. That means it was closer for you to get to school, but to try and walk back home, it was further. But I didn't take you all the way to school. So tomorrow, when it's time for you to get up, because you leave in my house, stop making these soft landings. So, and did you know that your body does not know the difference between Mike and Ike, now later, kiwi, watermelon, bread? It's going to do the exact, sugar is sugar. And then I heard DeNitra talk about in the morning. Now, I told you I'm at the Embassy Suite, so they're going to have this big breakfast tomorrow. And I'm going to watch all these people load the oatmeal. They got the honey, the granola. You think you're doing so well. You got the honey, the granola, a big tall glass of orange juice. And you know what? I don't want this melon. It ain't even really sweet. But I'm going to go ahead and get some melon because it's good for me. That's where you start the first thing in the morning. You wired up. You are on freaking 10. All right, another thing, the last thing I'm going to talk about is when you at the doctor, they'll never find the root cause. If I find the root cause, baby, that means that I'm not going to make any more money. So I'm going to attack your weight because you just want to be smaller, not healthier. And let me tell you how I know. Because you're willing to pump yourself with the Meninjara, whatever these different medicines and stuff like that, because it's helping you get smaller. What is your insides looking like? They not worried because when something fails, you more money.
They got a pill for every ill. They're gonna find a pill for every ill. And you hit the head, G, with us needing to just make a choice about how we want to show up. We really have to make a choice about how we want to show up. And making that decision is simply getting to the root cause. We often say in our community that, a patient healed is a customer lost. Right. And so if you get healed, you're no longer a customer. And so it's just like a broke down mechanic. At some point, I'm going to break it enough for you so you can fix it enough so you can keep coming back. We want you healed and whole. And the way to do that is to trace what is going on with your insulin. And once you know what's going on with your insulin, then you can start to make some better decisions. A crumble cookie don't look so good no more when you find out it's 96 carbohydrates and that they got all kind of petroleum stuff in it. Like now you know that that's not what you want for your body.
And then my last thing, I'm gonna mute myself for real. What you said, the cookie. Y'all think about this. You sitting around, we do it all the time. Somebody pulls out some candy. They say, "You want one?" You think of your breath. You go ahead and get. You just spiked yourself. You just brought yourself out of. You don't even realize it. You done went in and they like, "Oh, look, they got these little things here," and you get one. It could be the bite-sized cookie. You ate it. You just hit your system. You
Yes.
don't realize all of these little traps that are out because we somewhere we have shown our love through a nice big spread.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Baby, you better spread some meat. Okay, I'm quiet now. I'm finna turn this off.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit. Our goal, and the ladies have sort of mentioned, is that we want to empower ourselves to be able to be healthier. We want to be able to recognize and manage stress effectively. So we're going to give you some actionable tools tonight. We're going to build a stress toolkit. So I'm like big on creating an action item for us this week. So I created this little infographic to share with you guys around the development of a stress relief toolkit. And so I'm just going to bring that up for everybody to take a look at. We're creating this stress toolkit to help you go from overwhelmed to empowered. And I love so much what I heard already because basically DeNitra covered this whole infographic. But first of all, we want to make sure that we acknowledge and have self-awareness of what is going on within our bodies. So you cannot fix what you don't acknowledge, right? So identifying the stressors is going to be significant. We talked about the kids, and how stressful that can be. We talked about, too much time on the phone, not enough sleep, all those kinds of things that we're dealing with. So, are your stressors internal stressors or external stressors? Like, is work so hectic? Is the family causing you to be stressed out? What about finances? Like, the bill's gonna keep on coming due, and it can be quite stressful dealing with those external factors. And then for internal factors, I wanted to really talk about negative self-talk. What is it that I am telling myself about myself on a daily basis? I remember being a kid and thinking I was fat. I would say, I'm chubby, I'm fluffy. Even now, today, I hear myself saying, well, I'm feeling fluffy, those kinds of things that are really negative self-talk. What about being a perfectionist? Like, you want to always be perfect. And those things can be stressful in your life. So, if you build a quadrant for yourself, you can take this and build your 4 quadrants for yourself. And in that top left quadrant, you want to like write down what are the stressors, what are the things that you have identified for yourself that cause you to feel stressed out. And then in quadrant 2, which is on the top right, we want to focus on control and boundaries. And it was so cool when I heard DeNitra say, you got to say no. And then I saw somebody in the chat say no and mean it. Say no and don't feel bad about it. And then we know that no is a full and complete sentence. You do not have to make excuses for why you say no. You can say no without guilt. And then, creating those systems.
And when you 60, no.
Right. It starts at 40. I think it starts at 40, but yeah, by the time 60 rolls around, it's like, no. But, we do sometimes feel bad. Like, I feel bad because I want to help people, or, I want to be able to do the thing that the person is asking me to do. But you need to be able to learn to say no and understand that no is a complete answer. You don't have to make excuses for why you're saying no. Creating those routines and delegating tasks. You know, why are you the one who always has to get up at midnight and take that kid to the store to get the poster board? I mean, there's somebody else in the house that can do it. But, try to delegate those tasks. And even, when you have kids and stuff in the house, and moms are rushing around trying to do all the laundry, trying to do all the dishes, do all the cleaning, all of everything. Teach those kids, just like G was saying, teach those kids how to do that work inside the house. And they need to learn it. Okay. So then build your toolkit. So what are the tools that you're going to use? So we talked about movement. We also talked about the fact that you could be over exercising. So do you want to be cautious about that? But you want to use proper nutrition. I put carnivore here because to me, I have found carnivore to be the proper nutrition for me. Now, if you are a person who can tolerate vegetables, some low carbohydrate vegetables, then you could include that. But things like processed foods, industrial seed oils, you need to eliminate that because it's really not a proper nutrition for your human body. Okay. What about breathing? Like making sure that everybody's breathing, right? But making sure that you're taking those meaningful, intentional breath, doing breath work. So that's something that you could look up and research is breath work. What about emotional tools like journaling? I know that G is really, really big on this. She's like, write it down, make a journal, document it, set your goals, write them down. So journaling can be really, really helpful. It can be cathartic to just write out. Sometimes people want to write out their prayers, things like that. So journaling is really good. Also being grateful, thinking about the things that you're grateful for. And also community. So I want to mention, I think G popped it up. We had another person to join our membership community. Community is such a huge piece. It's like being around people who are supporting you and holding you up and lifting you up is so, so key. So that community piece is a big, big factor. And we do have a membership group. I'm going to put a plug in for it right now. But because right now it's just on my channel and on G's channel, but we do have a membership group, regardless of which channel that you come in under, you're going to get all three of us. Yay. And we're going to support you. We're going to uphold you. We're going to lift you up. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to give you that motivation and that support that you need.
I see a couple
we gonna be
coming through.
No, we do. We have a few questions. We do. We have a few questions. Go ahead. You want to pop them?
Yep. You want to pop? Are you going to pop them up, Robyn?
Yes, I will pop them up. Can you just bring that toolkit up? I'm just going to finalize the last.
Oh, the one that okay, real quick. Let's see.
I'm going to bring it up really quick.
I lost myself.
Right here. All right. So build the toolkit. You guys can take a screenshot of this. You want to check and adjust. So you can see that little circle. This is like a refresh button. That little circle means refresh, rinse and repeat. Do it again. Make sure that you're staying mindful about your stress. And so this is your stress relief toolkit. And I hope that this is going to be helpful for you guys. And yes, we do have some questions. So we're going to pop those up as well. I know we're running out of time.
Okay. I answered Karen's already. So
Karen, go right ahead. Yeah, she won't believe all the stuff.
It's really important though, right? So
yes, this is all good. I appreciate Karen's question. So I can't believe skin tags is directly tied to sugar. I got some on my back and wow. So it is insulin resistance that is the cause. Insulin is causing the foods that you eat to cause inflammation in your body. And so that is your body trying to dispel of it. And so it shows up and manifests in different ways. So Karen also asked a question about her knees. She said, are you saying that the pain in my knees in hip is because of sugar? The answer is yes. So Karen, what it sounds like to me, the skin tags are indicative of insulin resistance, the pain that you're having in your knees. So I would definitely highly suggest that you get to a doctor, ask a doctor to do a fasting insulin. They're going to tell you they're going to do a full panel, as Robyn mentioned earlier, but that fasting insulin is key. There's some other tests that we can put out for you, but that fasting insulin will tell us, even if you have what appears to be a normal A1C, or your doctor may have told you that you're pre-diabetic, if that insulin is high, what that insulin is saying is that it is the one thing that's keeping the blood sugar looking like it's normal. So it's doing its job, but we need to know that it is high, which means it had to bring in more insulin. And the more insulin that's in your body, the less sugar is regulated. And that means that you're going to go into a storage, and that's where those things are. So the pain of the itises that you have in your knees, whether it's arthritis, rheumatoid, or whatever, those itises are all inflammation. And so you want to deal with those. So yes to you, Karen. That is exactly right. And we can talk more about it. I'm struggling in perimenopause, been eating whatever, having dizziness, shortness of breath. EKG was okay a month now. I have a new Q waves. And so, but I'm starting carnivore. I was about to say, can you dial back to her question? I just want to point out her own self to her, right? Dial back one. You said, I'm struggling in perimenopause, been eating whatever. So you have to ask yourself, am I eating whatever and that's causing the perimenopause to be troubled, right? Or is the perimenopause causing me wanting to eat more? I would say it's the previous. It is what you're eating that's hindering your menopause. Menopause is just that. It is stopping where we've been the flow, right? And it should not necessarily be all the things that we've heard about in all of our lives, right? It is, we can aggravate it with carbohydrates and sugar. And so I would say that your statement around been eating whatever is aggravating it.
Yes, but she's going carnivores tomorrow, so that's fantastic. That is like a win-win-win situation. You may need to go all the way to carnivore. And let's talk a little bit about cholesterol, because there is some misconceptions around cholesterol. There's a little bit of a myth, or a lot of myth out here about cholesterol.
Let's make that on next. Get the people to come back.
All right.
We're gonna hit that cholesterol.
Because she started tomorrow, I do just want to say one thing to her. So her statement says that she's scared to eat high fat. Don't start with high fat. Just eat meat. If you want to start with eating, the whole key here is to take out the sugar.
Yeah, the carb. Yeah.
Move out the carbs, move out the processed food. You don't have to say, oh my God, I'm going to be eating a ribeye and I'm going to eat all the fat on it. Oh, I'm going to eat a stick of butter. No.
No, don't do it.
Let's start with just a tweak. Start taking the processed foods out. Anything that's in a package that you're eating that's got all of these things on the back of it, start removing those things. And cholesterol, we can deal with that next week, but LDL cholesterol is not your problem. It is insulin. I have high cholesterol and I'm doing just fine. I'm not on a statin. I wouldn't dare take a statin. And so we'll deal with that. Come back next week and we'll deal with touch on cholesterol a little bit.
So I meant to mute myself. So, but go ahead and answer that.
If 8 a.m. to 10 when cortisol is high, I've heard that you shouldn't fast a week before this. What are your thoughts on NF? So the thoughts about intermittent fasting is you can do intermittent fasting anytime you like. Essentially, what intermittent fasting means is that I am just not feeding, but I am not starving. Right? You should have a satiating meal. So
I think they're asking, this is before fast a week before my period. Just put period there, because that's what
right, and that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. You can do intermittent fasting.
How did you get intermittent out of this? Because so in my brain,
thoughts on doing intermittent fasting.
Baby, I saw that say if at 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Well, that was the first if, you're right. But she's saying
Yeah.
intermittent fasting 8 a.m. to 2. And then she said thoughts on intermittent fasting during different times of our cycle. She's asking,
Gotcha.
and Pero, if I'm saying your name incorrectly, let me know. And maybe you can correct us, clarify that for us. But I think she's saying intermittent fast 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. when cortisol is higher. I've heard that you shouldn't fast a week before menses. What are your thoughts on intermittent fasting during different times of our cycle? And I'm saying you can intermittent fast anytime. All you're doing is saying that I am not feeding my body during this window of time, and your body is going to be okay with not being fed. It will be all right. You already pre-ate. That's what I tell myself.
Yes.
When I intermittent fast, I'm like, I got a meal that it can go and find. And I mean that comically, but for real. Like you're not gonna starve. That's not what intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is meant to restore your cells, to rewrite your cells. It is giving you a fresh start when you allow your body not to be consuming food.
All right,
Karen, I see you over there. Good job, Karen, over here not eating processed foods and sugar. Girl, your body is going to thank you, thank you, thank you. You will, I don't know what your age is, but you will be doing things. I'm aging in reverse. When I was 45, 9 years ago, I was 60 pounds higher and not looking good, not feeling good. But now I feel so much. I'm still on my journey. I still got things to go through. Those are pictures of me that are going up on the screen. But I'm saying that to you to say that your body will thank you. This is what I call real self-love. So we go get our nails done. We go get our feet done. We go get our hair done. We get our lashes. We get our brows done. I'm saying from the inside out, you're feeding yourself these processed foods and sugar. And I'm guilty. It's me too. So I'm talking to me too. So I ask us often, would you feed your car sugar? Would you go outside right now and give your car a teaspoon, not even a whole donut? Would you go out there and even put a teaspoon? And I would beg to differ and say, no, you would not. Why? Because you know it's going to tear your car up. Guess what? It is tearing us up. Sugar is tearing us up.
Yes, it is. So, in conclusion, just Susie, we hope that you will watch the replay. This has been a really good show. Make sure that you guys share this with somebody who needs it, because we women are going through a lot with our stress. So we want to make sure that I want to just encourage you to identify something that you can do this week to help yourself to deal with this stress. Whether it is, being more mindful, maybe you want to be able to put in that sleep hygiene that DeNitra talked about, or, maybe do some journaling, those types of things. Something to help yourself to deal with the stress. So, DeNitra, do you have any resources or anything that you want to share?
Sure. I just have one closing thing that we can put. I also want to say to Karen, if you go back to last week's show, we did drop in the chat a document related to insulin resistant that points out skin tags. I'm just still speaking on your skin tags. So let me just drop this document for you all, and we'll go through it. It'll be really quick. Give me just a moment.
And then while you're doing that, when y'all talk about saying no, girl, I'll say no. I don't care if I'm sitting down watching TV. The answer is no. I don't want to do that. This is what I want to do. I'm only doing things that I want to do with my life. All right, let's get it.
All right. So Robyn gave us some things to consider, a toolkit to think about. And so all I want to do is just put that in a simple form for you to have a place to make your own. And we call it finding your formula. And so let's start to identify what our food is. What is your source of fuel? How are you fueling your body each day? We talked earlier about fitness. Identify what is your source of movement. How are you going to get around? Are you going to walk more steps? Are you going to park far away at Walmart and walk? Are you going to walk around Walmart 5 or 6 times versus just running in and running out? Those are things that make significant difference in the body. You all asked about fasting. Fasting is that inner voice. Fasting means that I'm disciplining myself. I can turn this plate over. I'm not starving. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to fall over, right? And let's identify what our faith is. So our faith is our source of strength. What keeps you going? Where do you lean in? Somebody mentioned earlier, I've given up these processed foods. I think it was you, Karen. And you said, I've given up, but it's hard. It's nothing too hard for your faith. Continue to lean in on your source of strength and allow that strength to be the thing that make you say, hey, I got a better why than these processed foods that I'm eating, whether it's my grandchildren, whether it's my own children, whether it's I want to travel like G doing right now, and I want to be able to travel and not have a wheelchair. When I travel, I see Black women in wheelchairs all the time. I just want to go hug them and say, come on, y'all, let's get out of here. Right? And the last F is family and friends. What is the community that source of support for you? So this is kind of a recap of what Robyn talked about in the toolkit. This is just a place you can print this. We'll put it in. You can print this. You can hang this on your refrigerator to keep reminding yourself. I just got 5 F's I got to remember. And that's it. That's all I got to remember. All right.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, G, can you take us on out of here?
I am, but I'm going to add this to it because I'm going to tilt this camera back because I want the people to see. So at the embassy suite, y'all can see all the floors, right? And for movement, let me just tell you how simple it is. We're on the 2nd floor. I'm going to the stairs and I'm going to walk up 1 flight and then I'm going to come out and I'm going to walk this little square, make it back to the stairs. I'm going to go up another flight and I'm going to walk. I ain't going to run. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm getting stiff. It's about movement. It's like one of the reasons why you don't want to do anything in your mind. Maybe not y'all, this me. In my mind, it's like, I know when I lost weight before, I had to cut this out, and then, man, got to start that workout. Okay, do I want to do the step? Do I want to do the class? You start thinking, this is so simple. You take it a day at a time. First of all, you're thinking about food. You take it a day at a time. When you look, is this fuel that you putting in? Or is this an ache and a pain that you putting in? That's what you ask yourself. And your movement. We're not a hamster on the wheel. Like she said, you ain't running from the po-po. So walk, enjoy, but continuously move. If you get into the point where you're like, whew, you're going too fast. That's the part that you just don't understand. This is about movement. Walk the mile. Don't run it. Take your time. Enjoy. Walk it. Just keep that constant step going. Constant. It's about movement. And I'm so proud for the ones that's in here now. When you change, because they tell you it's 80-20. This is 80% food. I just told you, go straight to the meat counter. Get you some stuff. If you just try and you want some more vegetables, keep in mind, vegetables are medicinal use. That's how the ancestors did it. That's how the medicine man did it. That's how the doctor, the witch doctor, whatever you want to call it, they had herbs. They had all these different things that they crushed together and say, here, take this. That's it. That is it. Everything else that you put in, tearing your stomach up, doing all of this, that's the food. That's it. You're thinking about it. And baby, I'm going to say it one more again. I'm 60 years old. I turned a cartwheel at 59. You couldn't have told me that I was going to turn a cartwheel. And wait a minute. And when I was this size, I couldn't turn one. Hold on. Y'all need to see this. Look. What? Y'all ready? See, look at me right there on the left. Over 260 pounds. Now I want you to see them 4 individuals in the middle. I was vegan. Look at carnivore on the right. I'm done. I can mute myself.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being here tonight for Hey Sister Girl. Come meet us back next week. Same place, same time. We'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.